Yemen, a nation nestled on the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, has often found itself at the epicenter of geopolitical struggles. Its strategic importance stems from its location at the crossroads of critical maritime routes, making it a vital player in regional stability and global trade. In recent years, the rise of the Houthi rebels has added a layer of complexity to Yemen's already volatile situation, making it essential to understand their origins, motivations, and the broader implications of their actions. Welcome to the Global Insight. Throughout its long and storied history, Yemen has been a cradle of ancient civilizations and a crossroads of cultures. Early Jewish populations during ancient times were subsequently replaced with Christian settlers, arriving in the 4th century. But it's the spread of Islam in the 7th century that had the most lasting impact on Yemen throughout the years, as various dynasties rose and fell, leaving their indelible marks on the nation. During the 19th century, Yemen found itself divided between the Ottoman and the British empires, further shaping its political landscape. After the upheavals of World War I, the Kingdom of Yemen came into existence. In 1962, following a coup, it transitioned into the Yemen Arab Republic, also known as North Yemen. Meanwhile, South Yemen achieved independence in 1967. The turning point in Yemen's modern history arrived in 1990 when the two Yemeni states united to form the Republic of Yemen. Ali Abdullah Saleh assumed the role of the first president of the newly formed republic, a position he held until his resignation in 2012 amid the wave of change sparked by the Arab Spring. In the years following 2011, Yemen confronted a deepening political crisis. Streets resonated with protests, echoing demands for an end to poverty, unemployment, and corruption. President Saleh's proposed amendments to Yemen's constitution, which sought to eliminate presidential term limits, ignited further unrest. This turbulent period ushered in a protracted civil war with multiple factions vying for control. These entities included President Hadi's government, which later evolved into the Presidential Leadership Council, the Houthi movement's Supreme Political Council, and the separatist Southern Movement's Southern Transitional Council. In October 2000, tragedy struck when a devastating Al-Qaeda suicide attack targeted the US naval vessel USS Cole in the port of Aden, resulting in the loss of 17 US personnel. This incident sent shockwaves through the international community and raised concerns about Yemen's security situation. In the aftermath of the September the 11th attacks on the United States, Yemen's President Saleh extended assurances to US President George W. Bush, pledging Yemen's commitment as a partner in the global war on terror. However, as the new millennium unfolded, Yemen faced internal challenges. In 2001, Yemen witnessed episodes of violence surrounding a contentious referendum. The referendum purportedly supported an extension of President Saleh's rule and the expansion of his powers. The seeds of the Shia insurgency in Yemen took root in June 2004 when dissident cleric Hussein Badreddin al-Houthi, who headed the Zaidi Shia sect, initiated an uprising against the Yemeni government. The Yemeni authorities alleged that the Houthi rebels aimed to overthrow the government and impose Shiite religious law. In response, the rebels argued that their actions were driven by a desire to protect their community from discrimination and government aggression. These events marked a turning point in Yemen's modern history, setting the stage for the emergence of the Houthi rebels and the protracted conflict that would follow. The Houthi rebels, officially known as Ansar Allah or Supporters of God, are a Shia insurgent group that emerged in the early 2000s in the northern Sada province of Yemen. They draw their roots from the Zaidi Shia community, a branch of Islam that represents a minority in Yemen but is a historical presence in the country. They take inspiration from the Lebanese Shia political and military organization Hezbollah, adopting an official slogan that included strong anti-US, anti-Israel, and anti-Jewish rhetoric. Following the death of Hussein Badreddin in 2004, The leadership of the movement largely fell into the hands of his brother, Abdul Malik al-Houthi, who continued to shape the Houthi movement's trajectory. Over time, the Houthi movement evolved into a military force with significant territorial control and influence. They've gained notoriety for their armed clashes with the Yemeni government, backed by various international actors, including Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. The Houthi rebels have become a formidable military force in Yemen, and their influence has extended to the capital Sana'a and large parts of northern Yemen. The rebels have received various degrees of support from Iran, including political, financial, and military assistance. This support has included the provision of weapons, training, and financial resources. Iran sees the Houthi rebels as a means to exert influence in the Arabian Peninsula and challenge Saudi Arabia's regional dominance. The primary goal of the Houthi rebels is to establish a more equitable political and socio-economic order in Yemen, one that reflects their interpretation of Zaidi Shia Islam. Their grievances are rooted in historical tensions and a sense of political and economic exclusion, as well as opposition to what they perceive as Western and Saudi Arabian interference in Yemeni affairs. The Houthi rebels seek to end what they see as foreign interference, particularly from Saudi Arabia and the United States, which they view as propping up the Yemeni government. Establish a government that represents their vision of Zaidi Shia principles, emphasizing social justice and opposition to corruption. Address economic disparities and reduce poverty in Yemen, and redress what they view as a long history of marginalization and discrimination against the Zaidi Shia community. Yemen has been described as being in a proxy war between Iran and the United States, although it's essential to note that the conflict in Yemen involves multiple regional and international actors, each with its own interests and objectives. The proxy war aspect of the conflict primarily revolves around the involvement of the Houthi rebels, who are often seen as aligned with Iran, and the Yemeni government and its coalition backers, which include the United States and Saudi Arabia. In response to the Houthi rebellion, and fearing Iran's influence, Saudi Arabia formed a coalition with several other countries, including the United States. This coalition has conducted airstrikes against Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen and provided military support to the Yemeni government. The US has supported the coalition with weapons sales, intelligence sharing, and logistical assistance. The rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia often plays out through proxy conflicts in other countries. For example, in Yemen, Iran supports the Houthi rebels, who are Shia Muslims, while Saudi Arabia backs the Yemeni government. In Syria, Iran supports the Assad regime, while Saudi Arabia supports various opposition groups. These proxy conflicts exacerbate regional instability and contribute to the broader disagreements. The conflict in Yemen is part of a broader regional rivalry between Iran and Saudi Arabia. These two regional powerhouses have competing interests and ideologies, with Yemen serving as one of the battlegrounds for their influence. As a result, Yemen has become a focal point for their proxy struggle. Indeed, the disagreements between Iran and Saudi Arabia are rooted in a complex web of historical, religious, political, and regional factors. Historical rivalries and disputes, including territorial and cultural differences, have contributed to the animosity between the two nations. These historical tensions continue to influence their interactions. Here are some of the key reasons for their ongoing rivalry and disagreements. One of the central factors driving the Iran-Saudi rivalry is the religious divide between the two countries. Iran is predominantly Shia Muslim, while Saudi Arabia is predominantly Sunni Muslim. This sectarian divide has fueled tensions, as each country often sees each other as a threat to its respective branch of Islam. The rivalry has at times manifested in proxy conflicts in other countries with Shia-Sunni divides, such as Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. Both Iran and Saudi Arabia seek to exert influence and control over the Middle East and the wider Muslim world. Iran, with its Persian heritage, aims to be a regional power. It sees itself as a leader of the Shia Muslim world. Saudi Arabia, as the birthplace of Islam and home to its two holiest cities, Mecca and Medina, seeks to position itself as the leader of the Sunni Muslim world. This competition for influence leads to geopolitical rivalries in various parts of the Middle East. Iran and Saudi Arabia are two of the most powerful countries in the Persian Gulf region and vie for dominance in the Arabian Peninsula and surrounding areas. Both countries seek to establish alliances and build strategic partnerships with neighboring states to strengthen their positions and counterbalance the other's influence. Iran and Saudi Arabia have different visions for the future of the Middle East. Iran often promotes an anti-Western, anti-American stance and supports movements and governments that challenge Western influence in the region. Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, maintains strong ties with the United States and seeks to preserve its alliance with Western powers. Both Iran and Saudi Arabia are major oil producers, and their competition extends to the global energy market. Disagreements over oil production levels and pricing can further strain their relations and impact the global economy. Understanding the Houthi rebels and their cause is crucial to grasp Yemen's strategic importance in the broader Middle East. Several key points highlight Yemen's significance. Control of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Yemen's position along the southern entrance to the Red Sea gives it control over the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a critical maritime choke point through which a significant portion of global oil and trade shipments passes. Any instability in Yemen can disrupt global trade and energy supplies. Saudi Arabia's security concerns. The Houthi rebels' ascendancy has led to a protracted conflict with Saudi Arabia, which views them as an Iranian proxy. The Saudi-led coalition's military intervention in Yemen underscores the regional power struggle and the potential for the conflict to spill over into neighboring states. The proxy war in Yemen has had devastating humanitarian consequences, including a severe humanitarian crisis characterized by food shortages, malnutrition, and a collapsing healthcare system. The conflict has dire consequences for Yemen's population, with regional and global implications for stability and security. International efforts have been made to broker ceasefires and peace talks, but achieving a lasting solution to the Yemeni crisis remains a complex and challenging endeavor. Yemen's strategic importance is deeply intertwined with the rise of the Houthi rebels and their objectives. The Houthi movement's origins and motivations are rooted in a complex interplay of religious, political, and economic factors. As the international community raises the stakes with the ongoing conflict in Yemen, including US and UK military interventions in January 2024, understanding the Houthi rebels and their cause is essential for addressing the broader implications of the crisis and working towards a sustainable solution that brings peace and stability to this strategically significant nation. That's it for now. We're delighted that you watched our guide to the rapidly unfolding situation in the Middle East. Please show your appreciation for this video by liking and sharing. You can also subscribe to the Global Insight channel for more fascinating deep dives into the latest geopolitical events. And until next time, stay tuned.